side are you on, Ben?
It's the gun show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, take a look.
The least impressive gun show imaginable.
Yeah, tickets are cheap. Buy one, get one free. He's playing Esper Stoneblade always. Andrew Schneider on our right, up-and-coming player, excuse me, who is qualified for Pro Tour San Diego and is making his way through the ranks. He's got headphones on too, and he's playing Blue Red Delver.
Hopefully this matchup ends soon because both players are attending a rap battle shortly afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have Delver Secrets Goblin Guide Snapcaster. It's a typical blue-red deck. And Mike Flores is a huge proponent of this deck. Plays Price of Progress main, which can really take advantage of some people.
Yep.
You know. Just basically a burn deck, you know, really hopes to get a Goblin Guide Devil Secrets on turn 1, and then hopes to burn them out in the rest of the game.
It also tries to fade Batterskull. That's probably the worst card against this deck.
Stoneforge Mystic is not a card this deck really wants to see. Although, again, it has cards like Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt that can deal with it can keep the Batterskull from coming into play early. You know, even if a Stoneforge resolves, as long as you're able to kill it, 5 mana still might be a little too far out of the range for this deck.
You have to try to keep that thing in control and kill him before they can get the Batterskull land. Taking a look at Ben's deck list, and we had him on a little bit earlier, actually playing the Aristocrats yesterday. This is his tried and true deck. He's been playing Esper Stoneblade. Years, it feels like. But he's only 20, so it's hard to say he's been playing it for years, but every time you see him, he's playing this deck. 4 Stoneforge, 4 Snapcaster Mage, Brainstorms, Source of Plowshares, got the Batterskull, I think it was always GT. Spell Snare, Chase the Mind Sculptor, a little bit of discard and Thoughtseize in position. 1 actual real-life counterspell, Engineered Explosives, a couple Ponders, a couple Force of Wills, Lingering Souls, and an Intuition. His sideboard, of course, is a bunch of 2 and 1-ofs, and he does have 3 Flusterstorms as well. So this is traditional for Ben here, and then as you said, Blue-Red Delver for Andrew Schneider is just a burn deck that comes at a different angle from just like a mono-red version. And this is one of those angles, is you're going to see Delver Secrets here.
Oh, and then, you know, again, ideal start for Andrew. Really wants to get a 1-drop in play, and then let his spells do the rest of the work.
Yeah, very Rug Delver-esque. You just want to get something on the table, get a clock going, and then be able to start manipulating and finding those burn spells. As you do see, Ben does have an Engineered Explosives, he does have a Polluted Delta, and he is going to Swords of Plowshares this before any flipping does take place.
And again, the interesting thing about this matchup is Andrew doesn't really have that many threats. He has 4 Goblin Guides, 4 Delver Secrets, and 3 Grim Lavamancer, which isn't that great.
Yep.
So he's really a lot of pressure is on those Delver Secrets and Goblin Guides.
There's a lot of pressure on just having one of his creatures stick.
Yeah.
And being able to deal some damage instead of having to just burn them out from 20 with just a lot of burn spells, especially when you have counter magic. You're not as pure as maybe a Patrick Sullivan mono red take with Fire Blast and Flame Rifts and all those burn spells. You actually need your creatures to do some work here.
Yeah, and not only that, but in this matchup, Ben has 3 copies of Lingering Souls, which are really, really good in this. Because, again, Andrew's threats are really fragile. He doesn't have a card like Nimble Mongoose even that is like a 3/3. You know, all his creatures can be answered by one side of a Lingering Souls.
Yeah. And so we do see Ben does draw a card. He draws a Path to Exile for the turn, so that Delver is going to be taken care of as well. You see Ben's little land heavy here. You see Engineered Explosives. You see a couple fetch lands. You're going to see him play Explosives, looks like on 1.
And has to activate it before Delver flips, because if Delver flips, it becomes a 0 casting.
Yes. Sectile Aberration does have a mana cost of 0, and you see Schneider is considering dazing.
Yeah, this would be a good play here.
Yeah.
Because Ben won't be able to activate it, and if Delver does flip, again, Delver's not guaranteed to flip though.
Yep.
Because there was no Ponder or Brainstorm.
So you see the daze here by Schneider. Ben is going to pay 1, and the reason he pays 1, if anything bad happens, you know, he does have that Path to Exile in the holster, just in case something does go wrong here. And now we'll see if Ben is going to pass turn. He is going to pass. We're going to find a Lava Spike. We're going upstairs.
And Andrew does have a daze for the Path to Exile, so it looks like Delver might be able to survive.
Yeah, so here this comes. Insectile Aberration is not going to get pathed here. Ben is happy to use his life total as a resource. He's going to take 3, and it looks like he's just going to pass the turn back. No Stifles to ever fear from this deck, so that's actually pretty nice for Friedman, as he does draw another land.
So, again, Path will be able to resolve now. It doesn't look like Andrew has any permission. So, Ben wisely didn't choose to pull the trigger on Path to Exile last turn.
You're going to see Ben just pass the turn back. Andrew's going to draw a card. It is a Arid Mesa. So here this comes in a moment, I would assume.
Yeah, both players are drawing a lot of lands here, and this has to favor Ben.
Yeah, I mean, the longer the game goes, I think it does favor him.
Ben just has a lot more cards that are more powerful in this matchup.
Now you're going to see Path to Exile resolve. We thought maybe Andrew might not search, but he is going to search for a land here. Path to Exile, card that we'll bring up on the screen for you guys. You normally see Swords of Plowshares in Legacy. You don't see very many Paths nowadays. Path was a standard all-star, certainly has its place in Modern, but we don't see it very often in these tournaments because we only do Legacy and Standard. So bring that one up for you.
I like it after board. It looks like Ben has 2 copies in the board that he boards in, and I like that because it's basically 5th and 6th Swords to Plowshares against like aggressive decks like this. And it's perfect in a matchup like this where Andrew's very threat light.
Sure.
And Ben's fine with just 1-for-1ing those threats.
Yeah.
Because there's not much else Andrew can do. It's hard for Andrew to burn Ben out when he's this high.
And you are going to see a Lava Spike here from Andrew. There's certainly no drawback either to giving Andrew a land in most cases. It's not like he has to Jace the Mind Sculptor or something like that to accelerate into.
Yeah. And interesting, Andrew had the option of casting. No, it doesn't look like he's anything. So it looks like Andrew's probably going to try to win with Snapcaster Mage next turn. He has Chain Lightning in his hand. I could see him playing Snapcaster on the Lava Spike.
Sure.
And just because, again, it is a threat. I mean, 2-1's not a giant threat, but against a deck like Esper Stoneblade, might be good enough sometimes.
Yeah,
he needs to get something.
Yeah, you want to get a threat into play. As you do see, it looks like Ben has drawn a Snapcaster Mage of his own. You see the swords and that Path to Exile. Because Andrew's going to untap, he's going to draw. He draws another Chain Lightning. So, I mean, if you're Andrew, you just want to draw more burn spells like this. That's all that you want to do now.
At this point, he might consider just holding on to the Snapcaster, but looks like he's going to go for it.
So he's going to lead out with Snapcaster Mage. Looks like it's going to target that Lava Spike. Lava Spike is going to go upstairs yet again. Something I didn't think I'd be saying this weekend. Lava Spike. Snapcaster Mage targeting Lava Spike. I didn't see that one coming.
So, a Price of Progress, because of the amount of non-basics that Ben has in play, drew another one, it looks like. It looks like Price of Progress is threatening lethal pretty soon.
Yeah, that's something that Ben certainly has to be careful of. What you see in a lot of these Stoneblade decks, or just Stoneforge decks in general, is they try to play as many basics as they can. You normally find the Blue-White Miracle decks can play a lot of basics, but Stoneblade, because they do have 3 colors, they can't play a ton. Ben does have 2 islands and 1 plains, and you do see that the Flooded Strand can't search out of plains, and he does have the 2 islands in play. As here comes Snapcaster Mage, and Ben's going to play one of his own.
Looks like we'll target either the Swords or the Path to Exile. And looks like Snapcaster might get Swords this time. Yep.
And Swords is going to take care of that, so that's going to move from the game. Andrew will gain a little bit of life here, and he did draw a Delver of Secrets for the turn. Engineer Explosives at the ready to take care of that, however.
I still like casting it here just because you force Ben to sack one of his lands this turn. Or Ben might use mana on his turn to do it. But either way, if you top deck a Goblin Guide, you don't have to worry about the Engineered Explosives anymore.
This is just this is an area of the game, this is just something that Andrew needs to get through.
Yeah, I mean,
1-for-1 with that Explosives to move on with life.
He doesn't really have an answer to Engineered Explosives, so you might as well just get the Delver out there. Yep. Ben obviously has to activate the Explosives before Delver has an opportunity to flip, so he either does at the end of Andrew's turn or he just untaps. Either way, he's going to be using mana.
Yeah. And so you do see the Delver of Secrets does come into play. Ben will likely take care of that with Engineered Explosives. He's just going to decide when he does want to do it. The cards in Ben's hand right now, he does have 2 lands, and the mystery card in there, the blue card, it took me a minute to figure it out, but it is Flusterstorm. Mm-hmm. So the card that we'll bring up for you guys.
This is great for Andrew because Ben brings himself to 9, and we know Andrew has 2 Chain Lightning, so now Lightning Bolt is also another Chain Lightning is a way to kill Ben as opposed to just a Price of Progress.
And you guys do see Flusterstorm on the screen. This is a card that is relatively good in this matchup. The problem here is that Andrew just does have a lot of lands in play already, so it's not really going to be as good as it normally can be. Mm-hmm. Much better against a Storm-esque deck than this one.
So dropping to 9, that increases the number of Andrew's outs to Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. And so we do see Ben, he draws a card here for the turn. And as you said at the top, it does seem very difficult for Ben's deck to actually be able to get a Stoneforge Mystic and actually cheat a Batterskull into play. I mean, we see Andrew has 2 Chain Lightnings in his hand, and he has Snapcaster Mage to kind of rebuy those as well. So, you would think priority number 1 is getting a Stoneforge Mystic, putting a Batterskull into play, but that's very hard to do, as we are going to see a Chain Lightning here from Andrew targeting Ben.
And it looks like a red spell. I'm not sure if it's a Price of Progress.
I think that is a Smelt.
Smelt.
Smelt has been announced.
That is a way to deal with Batterskull.
Yes.
So it looks like we might. Ben, it looks like he has another Snapcaster Mage and a Flusterstorm as his spells in his hand. Yeah. which again, Snapcaster can't really get anything back other than a Path to Exile, and Flusterstorm can't really stop any of these spells right now.
Now here's a fun question for you. We saw Ben play that Snapcaster Mage and target that Path to target that Swords of Plowshares to take care of one of Andrew's creatures. Makes you wonder maybe if he was supposed to target a Path to Exile instead. So now that that Snapcaster Mage he has in his hand, he could flash back and target his own guy to gain some life.
Yeah, I agree. I think Andrew had enough mana in play where getting another land wasn't really that big a deal.
Sure.
You're right. The life gain would have been huge. Especially given the fact that he has to know 9 is much worse than 10.
Yes.
You know, it gives him more outs.
As we do see Ben play a Lingering Souls, and now we're going to see Andrew draw and cast a Ponder. Wooded Foothills, Snapcaster Mage, and Goblin Guide are the draws.
So, looks like a keep there. You really want that Snapcaster Mage. Again, he might not know about Flusterstorm, so he has to play this turn. He has to be careful how he plays this turn, because if he tries to go for it right now, he could actually get caught by the Flusterstorm.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder if he saw that during game 2 or not.
Yeah,
And now you do see Chain Lightning going upstairs here, targeting Ben. And you know, the big question here is Andrew willing to pull the trigger?
Yeah, if Andrew goes for it this turn with the Snapcaster, then the Flusterstorm will be able to counter the Chain Lightning or the Snapcaster Mage.
So let's see what happens here with this Chain Lightning as Ben is considering his options. You see the Flusterstorm, you see the Snapcaster Mage, you see the Polluted Delta in his hand, trying to represent something.
So it'd be interesting if he's trying. Okay, so he doesn't have enough mana to go Flusterstorm, Snapcaster, Flusterstorm.
Yeah, he's only.
Although next turn he will. So it's going to be interesting to see what he tries to do here.
So you're going to see him play a Snapcaster.
So he's going to try to Flusterstorm it this way.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try to add to the storm count this way. So Snapcaster Mage is going to come in. He's going to target something, and now he's going to Flusterstorm the Chain Lightning. So there's going to be a bunch of storm copies of this.
Yeah, and this is actually a fine scenario for Andrew because he can choose to daze one of the copies and pay 3.
Yep.
Because I believe it's for 4.
So we see the spells that have happened this turn are Ponder, that Chain Lightning, and then that Snapcaster Mage. So that's 3, and then Flusterstorm. So there's going to be 4 copies of Flusterstorm on the stack.
Yeah.
And then all of them are going to target the Chain Lightning. And so you can pay 1 by 1 by 1 by 1 and then daze the last one.
Yeah, and
we'll see if he wants to, and he chooses
not to. That's strange because he has the win. I think you have to, because daze is not getting any better for you.
Yeah, daze at this point, its usefulness is long gone.
Yeah, Ben has. This is one of the rare opportunities where daze would have actually been good for you.
Yep. And you see Ben does draw a Wasteland for the turn.
So, again, Andrew's at 18 life, but he has to be careful here. He's getting hit by 6 this turn, and then he's going to have to deal with another flashback Lingering Souls. So Ben's threatening lethal in 2 turns here, and you know what the top 2 cards of your library are. One of them's a Goblin Guide, which isn't going to help you very much. Yep. So he kind of really needed he's able to shuffle his library now, but
yeah, with the Scalding Tarn. But I mean, we have a mystery draw coming. There's
you have a mystery draw, and the good thing is that if you just daze that and you pay 3. Yep. You would have been in the same scenario here, except Ben would have been at 3, and it would have been threatening lethal next turn with the Snapcaster. Again, you don't know what's in Ben's hand. Maybe he was playing around a Jete. Yeah. You know, maybe that's what he wanted, but still, I mean, he wanted to leave mana out for Smelt, but I don't know. I think you have to try to go for the win there. Because, again, the longer this game goes, the worse it gets for Andrew.
So let's see what Andrew draws. Andrew draws a Lightning Bolt.
So if he decides to go for it here,
yeah, if he goes for it, he does have it, and you see him considering the option right now.
I think he has to know he can't give Ben another draw step.
Yeah, I think he has to know that as well. One thing he also has the ability to do right now is maybe he was thinking about Force of Will from Ben's side being hard cast, but he has that daze. And you see Ben does have 5 mana in play. So if he was thinking about Force of Will as a card, he does have the ability to counter that. And you see Lightning Bolt, you see Ben show Polluted Delta, and you see a Handshake. So Andrew Schneider with Blue-Red Delver is going to win this match 2-1, defeats Ben Friedman playing Esper Stoneblade. Schneider's going to move on again to X-2. He'll be 8-2 now, and Friedman's going to move down to 7-3.
And, Andrew got a little lucky there. I mean, he drew the burn spells that he needed, but he had plenty of outs. Yeah. You know, and we said that. I think that Ben really needs like a Jete there in order probably to lock this thing up.
It just needed a way to close the door. I mean, you saw him play that Snapcaster Mage and then Flusterstorm, And you know, you see him play the Snapcaster Mage because he's just like, I need to close this game out, and I have nothing good to flashback either.
Oh yeah, I love the play from Ben's side. You know, getting the Snapcaster, but you know, because he was threatening lethal in 2 turns.
Yeah.
You know, it's exactly what you need to do with this. Like you can't when you're that low, especially.
Yep.
I think Ben probably shouldn't have sacked his land and activated the engineer explosives at the end of Andrew's turn.
Sure, just giving away 4 point of damage.
You know, you have to know being at 9 is so much worse than being at 10.
Yeah.
Like look at all the outs that were added to Andrew's side of the board when Ben went to 9.
Yeah.
You know,